Hello and welcome to today's walkthrough of sending a one-time campaign through Lob's Campaigns UI. So Lob's Campaigns UI is a tool that's available right in the Lob dashboard that enables you to create a campaign, which essentially allows you to choose your creative, pass in an audience list, and hit send. So it's probably the easiest way to get mail out the door with Lob, especially if you're brand new to Lob. This is a tool you can use to get up and sending mail right away. So let's walk through how it's done. First and foremost, we choose the type of campaign we're building. In this case, it's going to be a one-time campaign. We also offer automated campaigns that can connect directly to tools like Salesforce, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, HubSpot. We have separate training videos for those, so you can definitely take a look if you're interested in an automated campaign. But today we'll select a one-time campaign. We'll give it a campaign name. A campaign description is optional. And then we'll select our type, either marketing or operational. We'll choose whether we're sending to the US only or whether or not this will include international mail. And then we'll choose our mail format. So these are the standard mail formats that Lob has available entirely on demand. So if I select postcard, I can see I have options for different postcard sizes. Same thing if I select letters, I have options for different add-ons, custom envelopes, buck slips, etc. We have multiple sizes of self-mailers. We have cool formats like snap packs and booklets. The idea here is that we're selecting from one of these standardized formats, and that means that we can send mail entirely on demand. We don't have to pre-plan our send. If I wake up this morning and want to send 100,000 mail pieces, I can log right in and send them with no delay in terms of getting them to production, getting them out the door, getting them into mailboxes. We also support custom formats. That's something that you can talk to your Lob representative about if you're interested in sending something that falls outside of our standard formats. But once I've selected my format, I'll choose when I want this mail piece to send. I can either choose as soon as possible, in which case Lob will render this mail piece, pass it through for production. Typically, that process all completes within 2 days. Or I can schedule this for a future date. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule this one to be sent at the end of the year. Scheduling for a future date is good because it allows you to review everything before it actually goes live, including every or any individual mail piece that you want to proof. Next, I'll choose my postage preference. You can see here I can choose between first class and standard class. Beneath it, you can see the expected timelines for those. One thing to note is that we don't have batch minimums or batch maximums. You're going to see the same timelines regardless of how many mail pieces you're sending. So we're not waiting for mail to be batched to all be sent at once. We really don't want to give you any disincentive to getting mail out the door as quickly as possible. Finally, we can add campaign level metadata. So let's say we have something like a campaign ID that we want to apply to every one of these mail pieces. That's something we can do. Once we've set our configs, we'll jump to the next step, which is adding our audience. So this is where we're going to bring in an audience file. This is going to be everybody that we want to send mail to. So this is going to be in a CSV format, and it's going to contain the names and addresses of everybody that we're sending mail to in this send. Optionally, you can add columns for things like merge variables or metadata as well, but the important piece is going to be the names and addresses for each person representing a single row. Once you have that CSV, you can drag and drop that right into the platform. Lob will make sure that we recognize those name and address fields, and if not, you can map them to the correct column. And if I want to add a return address, I'm able to either add a new address or select from available return addresses in my drop-down menu here. And then I'll go to my next step, which is adding my creative. So this is the creative step, step 3. You have 2 options for bringing creative into Lob. One, you can just bring in a PDF file. So I can drag one right off my desktop and drop it in there. However, PDFs are not going to be dynamic. These are going to be static. So if you want to send personalized or dynamic mail, you'll leverage HTML. So that's what I'll do for the back of my mail piece. So I selected a template here. We'll give a moment for this template to load. So this is an HTML template, and it has one dynamic merge variable in it, which is the first name. So I want to pass in the recipient's first name into the mail piece as it gets sent. And so that first name field, I'm just going to make sure it's mapped to the corresponding column in my CSV. In this case, I have a column in my CSV called first name. So it picked it up automatically. A couple other things to note here. If I want to add a dynamic QR code, I can do that by clicking to add a QR code. We have a whole separate video on QR codes, but as a simple example, I'll go ahead and create a QR code URL, generate that QR code, and then I can place that anywhere on my mail piece. This is going to give me one-to-one tracking, so tracking down to an individual mail piece level when that QR code gets scanned. So if you're interested in that, I strongly suggest you watch our QR code video as well. You can also add a short URL to your campaign. So a short URL is, if you think about something like Bitly, it's a trackable short version of your URL that resolves to the actual landing page you want to take your recipients to. So I'm going to go ahead and add a short URL to this campaign. You can either create a new one and you can use your own short URL domain, or you can use Lob's default one. If you're interested in this, there's actually a whole separate video that goes into more detail. Or you can add an existing one, which is what I'll do here. So I've selected my ecom campaign short URL. Now if that URL is printed on my mail piece, when somebody uses that URL, that will actually get tied back to this campaign as a customer interaction. Once I've selected everything I want to select, and I just want to make sure that my creative looks right, I can generate a proof of my creative. That proof will actually take the first row in my mail piece, and I can make sure that it's passing in the required personalized information. I could even test that QR code if I wanted to. And then finally, I'll select if I want to use informed delivery. If I do, then I'll hit yes here, and I'll go through the informed delivery process. We have separate information on this, but the short version is if I have an informed delivery campaign, or promotion, I should say, set up within Lob, then I'm able to select that here and associate this campaign with that informed delivery promotion. Once that's all been done, we get to our final step, which is just reviewing the campaign, making sure that all the information that we've entered is what we expect, that we've set the right send date, we've selected the right creative. We can again generate a proof here if we like at the bottom. We can also see the cost of our campaign to make sure that we're comfortable with the price, and then we'll place our order. Once this order has been placed, we can click to view the campaign, and that takes us to our campaign details page. So this is going to now be a place where we can track this campaign, so we can see where all those mail pieces are once they've been sent. We can check our campaign analytics, and most importantly, right after we've sent the campaign, we can actually review proofs of every and any individual mail piece within the campaign. So if I want to check that Larry Lobster's piece looks exactly like I would expect, I can click into that and make sure that I see the appropriate values being placed onto his mail piece and that everything is rendering as I would expect. So that was our walkthrough of the Lob campaign's user interface. Hopefully this was valuable. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your Lob representative. Thank you.